Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my Explain Everything of your Expository Essay. This is the next paper you're going to complete for your college writing class. First thing I want to talk to you about, setting up exactly what it is you need for the paper. All right, first of all, this paper is worth 1 test grade for the second trimester. Now you're going to do two things. You're going to choose between writing a paper on one of these two ideas. You're going to explain a concept or an idea, something that's abstract. What does abstract mean? Well, it means something that you can write about, but it is something that you physically cannot touch. So I'll go more into that in a couple of minutes. And the other one is exploring a proverb. You've all heard of specific proverbs. Slow and steady wins the race. He who laughs last laughs best. I'm going to give you examples as well on a sheet. I provided a sheet for you in the packet that your substitute is going to pass out to you right now. So it's going to be between explain a concept or end an idea or just an idea itself, or exploring a proverb. So structure. All right, this follows the standard MLA. I know we were doing APA in the last one, but now we're on to MLA. We're going to use the MLA format, and it should be 2 to 3 pages in length. Remember that 2 is the minimum. All right, and again, you don't need cover pages. You don't even need a works cited, ladies and gentlemen. You do not need a works cited page. Okay, so please keep that in mind. It should be formally written. All right, but please do not use any I's, you's, we's, us, uses, none of that. Okay, but not a research paper. No secondary sources. And it's not a literary paper, so no primary sources either. No stories. Okay, you're telling me information. So, informative exposition. So here's your possible paper for topic number 1. Explaining concepts and ideas. Again, abstract, your paper. You're going to do this. You're going to choose something that is abstract and write about it. Attempt to take an idea and present it in a new and in a personal way. In other words, something that you find fascinating, something that connects to you, speaks to you, that you feel that you can write for a period of time. And again, the idea of abstract, you cannot physically pick it up and hold it. Okay, and there's some examples right down here. You have examples of love, kindness. If you want to go into being a literary connoisseur, you can talk about existentialism and how wonderful it is. That's fine, Camus. All right, so use examples to describe it. Again, you can connect it to stories. You can connect it to events that have taken place in history. You can connect it to something personally in your life that may have significance. Okay, use examples to describe it. Choose one word and explain and describe it. In other words, show your audience what it is. Don't define what society thinks it is. It's basically, remember we talked about paraphrasing in the first trimester. It's essentially that, but again, you're not citing anything directly. You're not using other people's works. So again, that's why there's no works cited page. So what you can do the following. All right, follow these steps. First, you can construct your own formal definition of the word itself. Getting ideas from different books, magazine articles, newspapers, what have you. Whatever you decide that you feel is the most appropriate for you, that's absolutely fine. Okay, construct your own formal definition. Okay, that does not mean look up in a dictionary and write word for word. Again, plagiarism. That's dangerous. Don't do that. Okay, you can describe its characteristics. All right, what is it about this word that makes it dynamic from others? What is it about love? What is it about existentialism? What is it about kindness? What is it about perseverance? Right? How does it stick out? How is it different from anything else that you've dealt with? You can give examples to show it in action. Okay, again, literary examples, historical examples, whatever you need to connect it to make a paper, that is absolutely fine. You can relate a story that illustrates it as well. In other words, it can be a personal anecdote, or again, you can connect it to some kind of story that you've read in your English classes, or just in your past or your own free reading. You can create an analogy that compares it to something more familiar. Sometimes if you look at a word and you say, yeah, I really like this word, but you get stuck on it and you're not really sure how to connect it to other people, use something else that might be similar in order to do that. Use a synonym. right, which means the same. Increase your and my understanding of the word itself, okay? Again, what you want to do is explain, okay? And how you explain it, well, again, will you explain your own take on a particular concept? In other words, are you going to tell me something brand new that I don't really know? It's your personal understanding, it's your personal opinion of it. That's fine. Will you suggest a new and radical way of thinking of an old idea? Right? In other words, especially with technology, it's changed so much and so dramatically over the years that all of a sudden, it's taken off and it's taken a whole new form. And what people look at technology in the 80s into the 90s and now 2000s, and here we are in the 21st century, technology is completely different from when it first started. And also, will you examine a stereotype from a new or atypical point of view? In other words, a different point of view. In other words, are you going to take something like a word, an idea, and say, as opposed to following the stereotypical understanding that love is, some kind of infatuation between two people, and therefore it must be only that. Are you going to look at it in terms of, love means different things for other people? Is it, love of the sea, love of life? It doesn't have to constitute, a heart with, Cupid hitting people with arrows. Ow, what? No, never mind. Next. Again, here are some other examples at the top. You have freedom, love, censorship, education, honesty, dignity, pride, art, religion, civilization, ooh, that's deep, justice, and pain. Okay? Try to choose a concept that means different things to different people. Again, you want to be, you don't want to be so broad that you're throwing everyone off and you're going into you're basically going on a tangent. You want to avoid that at all costs, okay? You want to really make sure that you don't do that. And you're going to ask yourself the following about the word you choose: who, what, where, when, why, and how. You remember those? Describe it as though you're describing it to someone who has never seen or heard of this word before, like someone brand new to the world. And it's like, were you living under a rock? Yeah, I was. Oh, well, okay. Well, here's my word. So what are its relationships, right? How does it connect? What is its value? In other words, does it have a certain value to you? Does it have a certain value to the government, to people? The government, man, right? What exactly is the value and how does it connect? How does it work? I don't know. How does it work? You tell me. In other words, does it work in society? Does it work within the personal understanding of things? Does it work between two people, right? Whatever it may be, does it work in like a community? However you look at it, just explain it to the best of your ability. Describe a situation where it is visible. Again, use anecdotes, use anything you can to connect it to understanding and putting it in a human perspective. That's important to understand, is that you want to make sure that everybody understands exactly what it is you're saying. You're also going to look for concrete examples, explanations, interesting anecdotes, stories, any information that adds to your knowledge of this subject and will make your explanation informative and compelling. And include the following: your own thoughts and feelings without using I. And again, we've talked about that, right? Instead of saying I believe and in my opinion, in my humble opinion, as you can see, I can't. All right, especially now, I can't see you. Sorry. So just make sure you speak directly without going into too personal of the pronouns. All right, next up. You want to make it as effective as possible. Okay, talk about something that is most effectively used. Writing. So that's it for the abstract idea, where you take a word or an idea and you talk about it for a long period of time. Now I'm going to talk to you more about the proverb paper. Okay, so examine the commonly accepted meaning of your proverb. And again, if you look at that list that I provided to you, it has so many different ones, and actually it gives you a little explanation afterwards as well. And again, when I get back, if you have any questions about it, I'll be happy to answer those. If you choose to disagree with your proverb, you should still explain what it means and explore why people have believed it for so long. In other words, you may say, well, he who laughs best. Well, what if something happens to them? It's tragic. He can't laugh anymore. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Captain Obvious. Yes, he's dead. That's good. Okay. But, in other words, how exactly, all right, how exactly are you going to explore it and why people have believed this for so long? Okay. Even if you choose to disagree with it, how does it connect back to humanity? Again, it's always going to connect back to the human element. Analyze whether the accepted meaning still holds true. In other words, present your idea or your personal story, making it clear how these examples have supported your point. Excuse me. Again, present your idea or your personal story. Make it clear how these examples have supported your point. In other words, don't just give me a story. Don't just give me an anecdote. Don't just give me a reference. Talk to me and say how it connects in terms of supporting your main idea. All right? Essentially, your thesis of it. Next. Here are some examples. Okay, and again, this is off of Google Images, but you can do whatever you want. And again, you can use any of those proverbs that I have, on that sheet. But you're more than welcome to take any of these as well. Just make sure they're all verified. But again, this is what I found on Google Images. So, here's one famous one on the right. The path of life leads upward for the wise to keep him from going down to the grave. And it's a proverb from Proverbs. You mean like the Bible? Yes, the Bible. Yes, that book that tells you pretty much everything. Okay, everything you need to know about being a Christian and the Lord. All right, and just again, choose something that you don't just pull out and say, yeah, I'm just going to do this one because it's the last possible second, and I'm going to do this. No, okay, take the time, please, and think about what you want to do and how you want to set it up. All right, and let's go to the next slide. Okay, and again, here's another example. These are just different examples of what you could be doing. Talk about appreciation. A thing of beauty is a joy forever, right? What is it about beauty that stands out? And again, similar to what you're going to do with the abstract, you can dissect the actual proverb itself and break it up into parts even, because sometimes that will help you to understand it better as well. And you want to, again, make it as clear as possible. After that, the obstacle is the path, says the Zen master. Right, you have, you can even use Confucius if you'd like. Go back to your literature book and use one of those. Those are great. So again, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what you choose to do, just do it to the best of your ability. And again, just remember, make sure that you use as much information as you can. Try to connect it to something that is important to you. Okay, you want to make sure that when you write about something like this, from the withered tree, a flower blooms, right? And then you're like, oh, but that's a mushroom. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. But again, these are just examples. So essentially, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do is, sorry about that. What you're going to do is put together as much information as you can. With the sheets provided, you're going to just, basically take an idea and start putting it together and figure out how I'm going to develop this. Use the sheet that's provided. That gives you kind of an outline. Even if you have some ideas, you can write them down on your in your notebook at first. But tomorrow, please make sure you have either your abstract idea or you have your proverb. And again, you should have something. Okay, so please make sure you bring those tomorrow. It's very important to start this process. And again, if you have any questions, don't worry. I'll be back in a couple of days. Right now. Oops, sorry. So for right now, just make sure that you have everything you need. Put together some ideas for yourself, and for tomorrow you're going to develop it a little bit further. And on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how everything goes with the snow days, I will be back and we'll talk more about how to set this up properly, and if you have any questions in terms of connecting it personally to your identity or your experiences, I'll be happy to help you. Okay, and I hope this has been informative for you. And if you have any questions, again, I'll be back in a couple of days, and we'll talk about it then. Okay, just do the best you can, and be nice to your substitute. Okay, thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Take care.